Hello everybody, Happy New Year. We've got through it once more. Well, I've been a bit low today because I had Christmas on my own and New Year's on my own. So I've decided to do the video because once I start talking, the energy starts to come through and it cheers me up. It's probably a bit narcissistic really. I sometimes play the videos just to cheer myself up. Anyway, here I am again, and it is New Year. So the theme today is going to be a bit like the carry on from last time, except it's in a different direction. I've called it. It's kind of a near-death experiences and ultimately reprieves, really, because we do tend to come through them. In my case. I don't suppose you've heard of walk-in. Some of you might have done, but I didn't get here until I was about 6.5, 7 years old during a major operation. A soul stood in for me, and the soul left during the anaesthetic, and I zoomed in. So I've not really had an earth experience of being born, and it's been quite difficult because I often feel as though I've not earthed and not here, but that is an experience that some people do have at about the age of 7. So that's kind of a near-death experience because it's in reverse. It's a birth experience, but without the actual birth. So hence here I am giving this little talk about near-death experiences, and I've had actually quite a few, and I expect people do have them, but don't relate to them as near-death experiences. But some of mine have been pretty powerful. I'm just going to talk briefly about them. The first one was age 6 or 7, and they do seem to occur at frequent intervals, though I can't remember many. I did have a couple of operations as a child, and so giving birth to my daughter was a near-death experience. I had pethidine and I was allergic to it, and I can't explain the feeling. I mean, my heart was racing so fast, it really wasn't beating at all, and there was a nurse sitting by the bed, obviously waiting for the moment I might just pop my clogs, but I came through it. So that was probably the second one that I'm aware of, and I've had one in Leicestershire when I went to see my daughter. I was driving back quite late at night on a dual carriageway, and when I can still feel it now, it was such a shock to me that I really didn't think I was still here. I thought I was still on a dual carriageway. In fact, I was on a single lane, well, just an ordinary road. I decided to overtake this huge lorry in front of me, thinking I was on the dual carriageway, which I wasn't. Well, it was night, and suddenly the wheel in my hand, the steering wheel, was spun one way and back another, and I overtook this lorry to the blare of lights coming from the other direction. I don't know how near I was, but I could imagine it was seconds away from a full head-on collision, and I've never forgotten that because I feel just talking about it feels it was such a near thing. I mean, reprieve. It was a reprieve, and I was going through a difficult time. It somehow shook me up, thinking, well, I'm still here, still a chance for life to improve, sort of thing, you know. And it was quite upsetting, but also reassuring that I was just taken out of my control. The wheel was spun, and I past the lorry. I mean, it was a long, you overtake these long lorries, you can't even see what's in front of them, can you? And I'd overtaken this thing fully confident that there were 2 lanes either side of me, which they weren't. So I suppose that's one of the major ones. And this is a very odd story, which I suppose some might find hard to believe. I actually suffered from a heart attack last year. Well, it must have been a heart attack because I asked the doctor about it and he looked at me in amazement. But I know that I live on my own, and my heart was like, it wasn't palpitating, but it was like fluttering. And I thought, oh, it's just a funny thing that we get about eating something, or I was stressed, but it was going on for quite a long time, 2 or 3 hours actually. And I began to wonder, do you think I should ring somebody? But I wasn't getting any pain. It was just this fluttering, so it wasn't actually beating really. So feel quite dizzy thinking about it. So I thought I'll go and lie down, just see what happens. This is me. I rarely call doctors and ambulances. I rather manage it on my own. I know I have lots of angels and healers, so I'm confident that I'll be okay, which one day probably I won't be. So anyway, I lay down and I remember being taken up to, well, leaving my body, I guess, and it was a white room. Beautiful. Again, I've mentioned this in my last video. The peace and the calmness, it was absolutely beautiful. And I was put on a couch, and of course I didn't know what happened, but I don't know how long I was there, but eventually I came to in my little bed, and I thought, wow, that was literally a near-death experience, and I probably should have gone then if I'd let it, and I hadn't been rescued from that by the angels. So I still, it is quite odd, because I did tell the doctor about it and he didn't believe me, but I know that I actually, for a moment or two, I had actually left and was about to go, but the time wasn't right, so they healed me and brought me back, I guess. Still here, waiting for the next one. Which I don't know how long we have, really. I mean, some people go into their hundreds. I'm not sure I'd want to go that long. It might be okay if you've still got all your faculties and you're still having fun, but I think Michael Douglas is 103 and he looks it. I mean, this is the trouble, isn't it? It's all very well if you look young and you still got, you know, you can have fun and get about and stuff, and of course many people do at that age, but I look at myself and I think, my Lord, you know, I mean, I'm not too bad because I'm on HRT, which I shouldn't be taking at my age, so I'm probably a bit vain about my age, really, but we still keep going. Yeah, I'm not, there are lots of other things. I'm not quite sure how long to go on for. This is about 7 minutes. I guess it's as much as you could cope with me. So I hope you've enjoyed your Christmas and New Year. I had a lovely pair of one present. Well, the Christmas tree, that's another story, but I won't go into that now. But I did have a lovely present, my one present from my daughter. She'd been to Nepal in India. Well, I think it's in India. And I asked her to bring me back a sari. I always wanted a sari. And she wrote a quick email. She didn't know what size I was. I said, forget it. You can get them in Leicester. So she did the next best thing, and I opened the present up on Christmas morning, and it was a beautiful pair of slip-ons, slippers kind of thing, and they were all jewels, pretty coloured jewels, and of course they're meant to go with the sari. And she said, well, I couldn't get you a sari, so I got you the shoes instead. They're not really for outside in Lincolnshire in the cold and wet, but they might do with a summer skirt. They're very pretty. So that was my one and only present. I don't mind. Actually, I don't mind. I thought the other day, you have a choice when you're on your own for Christmas and New Year's. You can either sit there and think you're rejected, nobody wants you, or you can tell yourself you prefer it. And I think I do prefer it when I hear the stories that some people have to go through with families and so forth. So I'm very fortunate. I've got lots of DVDs, and I've got my spiritual friends who look after me very well. So anyway, on that note, next one might be Valentine's Day. No, it's February. I should do one before then. So anyway, nice to share with you. You're my friends. I haven't got any close friends, but I've got you as my friend. I think that's a challenge, isn't it? And I keep smiling. So take care, all of you. God bless for now. And a happy 2020. What's going to happen? We don't know. Take care. God bless. Bye.